Think about the last hour you spent just staring at your inbox,
Oh, it's always such a painful experience, honestly.
right? And according to recent data, like 88% of what you just scrolled through or deleted was total noise.
Just complete junk.
Yeah, marketing blasts, delivery updates, system notifications,
Yeah.
only 12% of those messages actually required you to do something.
Which completely explains that chronic fatigue most people feel when they open their email.
Exactly.
Because you aren't just reading, right? You're constantly making these little micro decisions like, is this urgent? Is this trash? Do I need to reply to this?
It's exhausting.
It is. Sifting through that 88% of noise, it just burns through your cognitive battery before you even get to your actual work.
Well, welcome to this deep dive on the email hangover. Today, we are tackling that exact cognitive drain, navigating the wild new landscape of AI email tools in 2026.
It's a completely different world now.
It really is. And, if there's one core philosophy we hold on to around here, it's that life is greater than the inbox.
Yes. And thankfully, I think the technology has finally caught up to that philosophy. I mean, we are well past the era of manual sorting at this point.
We are. And before we jump into the deep end, we should mention the sponsor making today's analysis possible, which is Mailover at mailover.ai.
A very fitting sponsor for today's topic.
Completely. Yeah. Because they are an AI email client built entirely around what they call an action-first inbox. Mailover basically acts as a hyper-competent AI secretary.
Right.
It actually reads the emails for you, extracts the specific tasks you actually need to do, and then it files that 88% of noise into separate buckets automatically.
And that's with no rules to set up.
Right. Zero filters to set up. It tackles the core issue directly. So instead of giving you better tools to dig through the noise, it literally just removes the noise so you spend hours less in your email every week.
Which is huge.
Yeah. And that leads us perfectly into our source material today. We are breaking down a really comprehensive guide by Daniel Dineshi.
Oh, yeah, the one published on Mailover's own blog, right?
That's the one. It's titled Best AI Email Management Tools in 2026. So our mission over the next few minutes is to help you, the listener, find your exact fit among the top 8 tools on the market.
Because everyone's needs are slightly different.
Exactly. We're going to figure out whether you want a tool that helps you read email faster, see less of it, or if we're chasing the holy grail here, stop reading it entirely.
Right. And to figure out where you land on that spectrum, we really have to look at this massive philosophical divide in the premium email market right now.
It's definitely split in half.
It really is. It boils down to 2 totally different approaches, either making you a faster operator versus, doing the operation for you.
Wait, before we get into the tech itself, I just have to ask. For years, the whole concept of inbox zero felt like a total myth.
Oh, absolutely.
Like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon, Are we genuinely at the point with generative AI where we could just fire ourselves from our own inboxes?
I mean, we are closer than ever, but it requires a pretty fundamental shift in how you view your own responsibilities.
Okay, so let's look at that first approach then, making you faster.
Yeah, so the undisputed heavyweight here is Superhuman. They really built their entire brand on being the ultimate tool for power users.
I always look at Superhuman like buying a Ferrari.
That's a great way to put it.
Right, because you're buying a highly tuned machine designed to make you, the driver, incredibly fast. You're flying through the inbox using keyboard shortcuts, sub-second search speeds, split inboxes.
They essentially engineered every single ounce of friction out of the interface, and they really doubled down on that in 2025 by acquiring Grammarly.
Oh, wow. Right.
Yeah, and they baked that intelligence directly into the client. So now you have features like auto drafts where the AI anticipates what you might want to say and generates follow-ups in your voice.
Without you even prompting it.
Exactly, without a prompt.
No.
And it uses natural language for search, so you can just type, find that invoice from Sarah last month. But as you said, that Ferrari performance definitely comes at a premium.
A massive premium. I mean, it starts at $25 a month if you pay annually.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
And if you want those top-tier AI features, like the auto drafts we just talked about, you have to bump up to the business plan, which sits at $33 a month.
Right.
That is a serious investment just to process your own email.
It is. And, it brings up a critical flaw in this whole philosophy of speed. It's the paradox of efficiency.
What do you mean?
Well, if you optimize a fundamentally broken system, you really just get a faster broken system.
Let's pause on that, because I actually want to push back on the whole Ferrari approach.
Okay, go for it.
If I'm drowning in email, right, and Superhuman makes me type and reply in 2 seconds instead of 2 minutes, don't I just end up doing more email?
That is exactly the problem.
Right. I reply faster, so the client replies back faster, and suddenly I'm just trapped in this high-speed ping-pong match.
Yeah.
How does that actually fix the overload?
It doesn't. It just makes the hamster wheel spin faster. Being able to fire off a response instantly doesn't change the fact that the response probably wasn't even necessary in the first place.
Right, which brings us to the opposing philosophy.
Exactly. The chauffeur approach, which is gaining so much traction right now.
Enter mailover. So if Superhuman is the Ferrari, mailover is the chauffeur.
You sit in the back seat, you don't touch the steering wheel, and you basically just review the itinerary.
I love that. Mailover flips the script from inbox management to action item management.
Yeah.
And it's significantly more accessible, too, starting at around the cost of 2 lattes a month. So like $7.50.
Which is a huge difference from $33.
Huge. But the mechanics are what fascinate me here. You aren't really opening emails individually anymore.
And that's a massive psychological shift. By using semantic analysis, the AI isn't just looking for basic keywords anymore. It actually understands deadlines and requests.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it extracts those action items and creates a daily briefing for you, categorized into action items, highlights, and FYIs.
So you don't have to wade through like 3 paragraphs of someone asking about your weekend and talking about the weather just to find out a vendor needs a signature by Thursday.
Precisely. The tool just gives you a bullet point that says, sign vendor contract by Thursday.
It just cuts right to the chase.
It filters out all the pleasantries and the noise, isolating that 12% of actual signal. You're addressing the work itself rather than the communication about the work.
But, okay, what if you don't want a massive paradigm shift? Like, what if you don't want to hand over the keys to a chauffeur, but you also don't want to pay a huge premium for a Ferrari?
Right. You just want something familiar.
Exactly. What if you just want your current Gmail to be slightly less annoying?
Well, that brings us to the accessible AI category. This is really for users who want smart assistants layered on top of a traditional familiar experience.
And often for free, right?
Exactly.
Shortwave is a perfect example here. The source material points out this is arguably the best free AI client for Gmail, though they've recently expanded to Yahoo and Fastmail too.
Yeah, they've been growing a lot.
But the feature that blows my mind is Ghostwriter.
Yeah.
It actually learns your personal writing voice and generates emails that match your exact tone.
The mechanism behind Ghostwriter is really clever. It doesn't just ask you how you write in a survey or something. It analyzes your sent folder.
Oh, that's smart.
It looks at your sentence length, your vocabulary, whether you use exclamation points a lot, and if you're a best regards or a cheers kind of person.
Wow.
Yeah, it identifies all those cadence patterns so the drafts genuinely sound like you wrote them.
It also uses natural language search, and it keeps everything organized with this really clean system of splits and bundles.
And then for users who jump between a lot of different devices, there's SparkMail.
Right, because that works across Mac, Windows, iOS, and Android.
Exactly. It has a free basic plan, and the premium tier is just a few dollars a month. Spark integrates an AI assistant for short replies, thread summaries, and even meeting transcriptions.
So it's more evolutionary than revolutionary.
That's a great way to put it. It just smooths out the rough edges of the traditional inbox.
Okay, let's play out a hypothetical here.
Oh.
Because this is where this whole tech landscape gets incredibly weird to me.
Okay, let's hear it.
If I'm using shortwave, and Ghostwriter has perfectly learned my sort of quirky tone, and my colleague across the country is using Spark to reply in their tone.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Right. Are we literally heading toward a reality where 2 AI bots are just talking to each other across the internet, negotiating project timelines while we just sit back and watch the transcripts?
Honestly, we are effectively already there.
That is wild.
It is. Generative AI has completely democratized articulate communication. Everyone can now send perfectly structured, polite, fast emails.
Right.
But what's fascinating here is that mimicking style is really only half the battle. We still have to look at the human element of responsibility.
Because someone still has to own whatever the AI actually promised in the email.
Exactly. If your ghostwriter promises a budget report by Friday to your colleague's AI bot, you are legally and professionally on the hook for that Friday deadline.
You can't just blame the bot.
Nope. Which means you still have to manually read and verify the content of every single AI-generated message to ensure it didn't, hallucinate a number or a date.
So the cognitive load hasn't actually vanished. You've just shifted from being a writer to being an editor.
And auditing someone else's work, even an AI's work, can honestly sometimes take more mental energy than just writing the 2 sentences yourself.
That is a brilliant point. Okay, so we've covered the speed demons, the automated chauffeurs, and the everyday assistants. But what if drafting replies isn't even your actual problem? What if you were currently staring at a bloated inbox of like 10,000 unread messages, and the mere thought of organizing it gives you a panic attack?
Yeah, if you're starting with 10,000 unread emails, generative AI is basically useless to you.
Really?
Yeah, because you don't need a tool to write a poetic response to your boss at that point. You need a bulldozer to shove 9,000 promotional emails into a dumpster so you can actually see the foundation.
I love the bulldozer analogy. Enter clean email.
Exactly.
It is designed specifically for bulk inbox cleanup, and it's incredibly cheap, like $2.50 a month.
It's a lifesaver for that specific problem.
It really is. It groups your massive backlog into 33 smart folders. It uses auto-clean rules, a true unsubscriber tool to get you off lists, and a screener for new senders. It basically just fixes the initial disaster zone.
Right, it clears the lot before you build the house. And working alongside that same philosophy is SaneBox, which is a 13-year veteran in this space.
13 years is an eternity in tech.
It is. But SaneBox operates totally differently than almost everything else we've discussed today because it works at the server level via IMAP.
Let's break down IMAP for a second, because that sounds highly technical to a lot of people, but it's actually a massive selling point.
It is. Think of IMAP as the language your email provider speaks. Unlike a new app that you have to download and learn, SaneBox talks directly to the server where your email lives.
So you don't have to change your app.
Exactly. It acts like a bouncer at the post office, intercepting and organizing the mail before the mail carrier even brings it to your house or your phone.
So it just works silently in the background.
Yep.
It watches your habits, moves less important things to a batch review folder called Sane Later, and it even tracks when you're waiting on a reply. But I have to say, the ultimate feature is Sane Black Hole.
Oh, it's iconic.
It is the greatest digital trapdoor ever invented. You drag a sender into that folder, and you literally never see an email from them again. It is just deeply satisfying.
It really is. Both Clean Email and SaneBox provide that essential foundational hygiene. They're affordable, and they solve real problems for almost everyone.
Right.
But on the complete opposite end of the specialized spectrum, we have a tool like Fixer AI.
Fixer AI. Now, this one is highly specialized for meeting follow-ups and executive drafting, right?
Very specialized.
It joins your video meetings, takes the notes, extracts the action items, and generates the follow-up email drafts for everyone who attended.
Which sounds great on paper.
It does. But here is the catch. It starts at $30 a month, and the pro version is $50 a month. Plus, there isn't even a mobile app.
Yeah, that's a tough sell.
Let me throw some heavy skepticism at this. Why on earth would anyone pay $50 a month just for meeting notes? Couldn't I just use Zoom's native AI or like a cheap transcription tool for a fraction of that cost?
Well, your skepticism is entirely justified, especially when you just look at the raw price tag. But where Fixer is placing its bet is on the cost of context switching for a busy executive.
Context switching, what do you mean?
Think about the manual workflow. Use a cheap transcription tool, right? Now you have this massive wall of text.
Okay, yeah.
You have to read that text, find the actual action items, copy them, open your email client, paste them in, format them, figure out who attended the meeting, and then send it out.
That does sound annoying when you say it all out loud.
For an executive whose time is valued at hundreds of dollars an hour, that 10 minutes of friction is a really high-cost pain point.
Oh, I see.
Fixer attempts to close that entire loop in one seamless platform. You are paying for the integration, not just the transcription.
You're paying to never copy and paste again.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense for a very specific corporate bottleneck. But look, whether you're paying $3 for a bouncer at the post office or $50 for an executive assistant, we cannot talk about delegating our inboxes without addressing the massive looming elephant in the room.
We definitely have to talk about privacy.
Yes, because to let an AI summarize or draft or extract action items, you have to hand over access to the most sensitive data in your life.
Literally everything is in there.
Passwords, family arguments, financial documents, legal contracts. It is the equivalent of handing the master keys of your house to a very smart stranger and saying, hey, please organize my living room, but promise you won't look inside the safe.
It's a huge leap of faith. And the reality is, all generative AI tools fundamentally require access to the text of your emails to function. I mean, they can't summarize what they can't read.
Right.
So the deciding factor really becomes how they protect that data. And the landscape offers two extremely different philosophies on security right now.
First, we have the open source approach, represented by Inbox Zero.
Right.
It's a premium tool, but if you have the technical skills to self-host it, it's completely free. And it handles auto-labeling, cold email blocking, and drafting.
The main advantage of open source is transparency. For developers or teams with really strict compliance needs, you don't have to just trust a company's marketing copy.
You can see for yourself.
Exactly. You can inspect the code line by line to verify exactly where your data is going. And if you self-host it, you build your own vault. The data never leaves your own servers.
But let's be real here. I barely know how to reset my home router.
Most people don't.
Right. Most everyday users, and even most small businesses, do not have the capability to deploy an open-source email client on a server and maintain its security patches.
Which leaves the vast majority of users relying on commercial tools. This does require a leap of trust, but companies are finding ways to actually engineer that trust.
How so?
Well, Mailover is a great example of the commercial response to privacy concerns. They use AES-256 GCM encryption with per-user keys and something called a zero-access architecture.
Okay, break that down for us, because that's a lot of acronyms. What does AES-256 actually mean for the person listening?
So AES-256 is the cryptographic standard used by banks and the military. It basically means that even if a hacker intercepted the data pipeline, all they would see is scrambled gibberish.
So they couldn't read the emails even if they stole the data.
Exactly. It would take current supercomputers millions of years to crack it.
And what about the zero-access architecture part?
That is the most crucial part, actually. Zero access means that the company itself does not hold the master key to decrypt your data.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you hold the key locally. So even if Mailover's own engineers wanted to read your email, or if they were subpoenaed by the government, they physically cannot unlock the box. They only hold the locked box, not the key.
That's fascinating. They also allow users to set granular keyword blocks, too.
Right.
You can tell the AI, never process any email from my lawyer's domain, or never read an email containing the word mortgage. It really forces us to look at who we actually trust more. Open source code we can verify ourselves, or a corporation providing bank-level cryptographic guarantees.
It's a classic trade-off between absolute control and usable convenience. But what is encouraging is that commercial companies are being forced to compete on these explicit privacy features to win over hesitant consumers.
They have to earn the trust.
They know that convenience without security is just a non-starter for most people.
It is a wild landscape out there, and choosing a tool really comes back to identifying your specific pain point. So let's bring this all back to you, the listener. How do you decide?
You really have to look at your primary goal.
Right. If your goal is to read email faster and feel like an absolute power user, Superhuman is the Ferrari you want.
But if your problem is a disaster zone of thousands of unread messages, you need the bulldozer first. Clean Email or SaneBox will clear that foundation for you.
And if you just want to dip your toes into smart features without opening your wallet, Shortwave gives you an incredible AI-powered experience for Gmail.
Absolutely.
But if you want the ultimate prize, if you want to stop reading the noise entirely and only focus on the tasks that actually matter, that is where Mailover's action item extraction changes the game.
And remember, you aren't limited to just one philosophy here. You can actually build a tech stack.
Oh, that's true.
You can use SaneBox's bouncer to filter out the junk at the server level, and then use Mailover's chauffeur to extract the action items from whatever actually makes it through the door.
Build the stack that serves your life, rather than adapting your life to serve the inbox.
Which leaves a slightly provocative thought to leave you with today.
Lay it on us.
We are watching AI secretaries that can draft, summarize, and categorize become the absolute standard. The inbox of the near future will be almost completely automated.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
So fast forward 5 or 10 years, will manually hand-typing a traditional email eventually be seen as a rare luxury, or perhaps a glaring sign of inefficiency?
Wow. An artisanal email.
Exactly. A handcrafted artisanal email of the digital age. Like, I typed this with my own 2 hands.
That is a wild concept to end on, like a handwritten letter.
Pretty much.
As the AI bots take over the scheduling and the follow-ups, maybe the human touch becomes the ultimate premium feature. But, until that day comes, we still have to deal with the overwhelming tide in front of us.
We do.
And thankfully, we could put the teaspoon down. We have bulldozers, we have Ferraris, and we have chauffeurs. Value your time, reclaim your sanity, and remember the golden rule. Life is greater than the inbox. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive here on the Email Hangover. We'll catch you next time.